10,000 songs, 10,000 worries, 10,000 wrongs.
Hello, my name is Marcela Lorca, Artistic Director of 10,000 Things Theater. We at 10,000 Things often perform plays for people in correctional facilities, senior centers, homeless shelters, and many other community partners. We believe in the power of theater and storytelling in bringing us closer to each other. Because of the pandemic, we're not able to bring our work to our audiences in person, so we decided to reach out to some of them and ask them to share their creativity with us. What you're about to hear are some of the voices of those who are most isolated in this moment. People who are incarcerated in Minnesota have been even further isolated in recent times. With visiting days suspended on most locations, they have not seen their loved ones in over 6 months, and many of their regular activities have been suspended. Our friend, playwright Kira Belensky, came up with writing prompts to provoke their imagination. We sent those prompts to a number of correctional facilities across the state and received nearly 50 responses. The wonderful actors Aimee K. Bryant, George Keller, H. Adam Harris, Kurt Kwan, and Steve Epp will perform a selection of their work for you now. The whole range of responses will be available for you to hear in a podcast series and to read in a blog later in the year. We're excited to share with you the uniqueness and excellence of these pieces. We celebrate the humanity and the creative expression of each and every person and wish you, our viewers, much peace and health during these times. Take care and enjoy.
Bryant, scene 2, take 2. Stand by in 5, 4, 3.
Inevitable by Erica at Minnesota Correctional Facility, Shakopee. A mystic spirit once asked me, "Would you like hell or heaven?" I looked at my watch. It was 7:15. To be honest, I'd have to say neither. Let that eat through your soul as if it was ether. In my opinion, they both brag and boast, slightly hypocritical, and I hate that the most. They're both passing judgment, arguing all about when sooner or later they'll cancel each other out. And I will dwell in the remnants left here on earth, only to do it all again in existence's rebirth.
Harris, scene 2, take 2.
My Beloved by David at Minnesota Correctional Facility, Stillwater. My beloved, I wish you had been able to come with me. I can't wait until your chemo is over and we can come here together. The island Uncle Rex left us is unbelievable. We didn't just inherit the island, but a marina and a monthly stipend to keep it all going. The man who manages the marina, named Captain George, looked like a big bear. He is rough-looking and hairy, but in reality is a very gentle man. He is also the ride to the island, though his boat has this ominous name, Last Chance. It looks in poor shape, but that is for show. It's the best boat afloat in the area. Captain George took me out to the island. I have to admit, when I first laid eyes on it, I wasn't impressed. It looked like a large rock cake with short trees sticking up for candles. The captain smiled at my reaction and told me to wait and see. We pulled up to a short dock that jutted out from a small beach. He led me up a path that zigzagged up the face to the top, a good 100 feet up. When we reached the top, my love, my breath caught in my chest when I beheld the wonder that awaited me. The island is a big bowl rimmed in with high sloping walls of rock and scrub. It took me a few moments to realize it was the cone of a volcano. The inside was mostly filled with ancient forest of fir, cedar, and Sitka spruce. Some of the trees went up 200 feet. There's a trail that follows along the east side, sloping down, ending at a large rock and moss area. It was strange as we descended. It was like going from the coast to an inland mountain range. The air went from a coastal breeze to a still, warm quiet. There was a wide trail at the base of the western wall that went to the north. George led me down that, and after about a quarter of a mile, it turned east and went halfway across the cone before turning south and plunged into the old forest. A hush and closed-in feeling descended when we crossed into the trees. The trees were like living columns of a cathedral. Moss blanketed the ground, dotted with small white flowers whose heads were bowed in reverence. The branches high above became choir lofts of birds who sang their endless praise for the day. Even the light filtered through the branches as it would through stained glass, giving the air a green cast. Spotlights of clear sunlight broke through, and the air was live with dancing dust fairies. My dear, what a place for you to come and relax and rejuvenate, to be healed in a place of holiness unlike anything man could create. There is a door in the south face that leads to a great room of polished rock. A dozen solar tubes bring lots of light into the area. 3 walls on the left side have 10-foot-high bookcases, only broken by a stone fireplace. There is a master suite with a king-size canopy bed, armoire and dresser. A stone fireplace with a couple of overstuffed chairs makes up the rest of the room. There is a sliding glass door that opens to the outside of the island with a small deck that looks out over the ocean. My dearest, this is a slice of heaven for your recovery. With all my love, David. My wife died of a second bout of cancer.
The Big Bang by Pepi at Minnesota Correctional Facility, Stillwater. I am 2 planets away. I can feel your energy. I see your planet circumnavigate your sun as you feel the warmth of equality. Gazing at these 2 moons, I think of your eyes. They mirror the twinkle of a billion stars that hover above me. And as I squint, I glean your oceans are arcane, vast and wide, your atmosphere synergy. The planets, quarks, and supernova between us are bridges for love's energy. We are the fallout from the Big Bang. Our souls are fused together like an indigenous society. Though our spirits thrive on separate planets, I can feel your vibe as the stars shine, mimicking our relational reality.
10,000 faces, 10,000 words.
For the Seat of My Lament, PSYCHE, by Stephen at Minnesota Correctional Facilities, Stillwater.
To whom it may concern, I am awake and found the silent melody chorus welcoming.
I am awake and found the silent melody chorus welcoming.
I am awake.
To whom it may concern,
I am awake and found the silent melody chorus welcoming.
A megalith partition of maligned metal rods, marred with imperfection, bleeding an iron echre odor is standing on guard in front of me.
There are mismatched mold-covered surfaces plastered onto the walls, stained with a mural of fingerprints left behind from the previous occupant on all three sides.
On all three sides. An assembly of mosaic, corroded, and unaligned floor tiles are laced and intertwined with the incrustation of human excrement and the sinew fibers of mummified muscle filaments forms a comforting calcified carpet.
Spread across the expanse is an ashen-covered field of a bleach-colored patina landscape with the scattered remains of the decaying human remnants discarded into heaps of piles, rising high into the horizon.
perched on its apex peak, an infinite of glistening obsidian creatures with blood-red tapered beaks, rustic talons dripping, flammable acidic droplets, and a septet of exquisite event horizon eyes are scanning for any unsuspecting susceptible senility.
In unison, their charismatic eye-beams bewitched me to the core, as bout after bout of uncontrollable tremors rock and trembles my bewildered stance of hopelessness.
Bewildered stance of hopelessness, as if staring into the diabolical orifices will reveal a shred of dignity to my current station.
Suddenly, startled by a cacophony of gut-wrenching, thunderous screeches,
Cacophony of gut-wrenching, thunderous screeches echoing melancholy throughout the graveyard trough of hollow bones like a harmonic organ, piping macabre tunes, a death note signaling the inception of closure for the soul.
I have cowered into one of the nooks of a corner, shriveled into a ball of submission, and surrendered to the onslaught of my self-affliction.
Each aerial assault from the squadrons of assailants against the sentient barrier of scruples shielding my incarceration is repelled with a score of flocking brutes, descending to the whitened ember basin to recover from broken appendages amongst the mingled masses of mortality.
time here is recorded by the measure of degree in the accumulation of the smashed, stacking sin sediments settling on the smooth surface. This place is devoid of consciousness, sterile of any semblance of compassion. I have resorted to seeking comfort in my resting place and have taken refuge with my endgame.
My memories of you
My memories of you are fading against the grain into the emptiness.
My memories of you are fading against the grain into emptiness, with difficulties letting go of habitual routine as my inner sanctity is crumbling into a mist of dust.
The bounds of limitation is faltering at the nucleus. Without tangible evidence to distinguish between conviction and reality. A shade of realism saps vitality into the abyss with each lingering imprint of degenerate principle.
I acknowledge the axiom of this cruel cage of steel will sooner or later degrade my wretched soul and demented vessel into the shattered ambience by deducing the last vestiges of my decrepity into rubble.
Do not seek out this netherworld of condemnation.
Do not seek out this netherworld of condemnation. I forbid you of any attempts of reconciliation.
If you intrude upon this forsaken domain, it's a declaration of provocation for pandemonium.
I regret discarding your tender love, losing your murmur of humanity, missing your caressing, sensitive touch, and sharing the same sphere with your bountiful breath of brevity.
And leaving you behind, I revoke my legacy. In secret, I mournfully yearn for your company and to inhale your familiar fragrance once more. But I most desire a place of solitude above all.
But I most desire a place of solitude above all, bereft of any acquainted attributes to alter my fated destination. I am absolutely alone without you.
I am absolutely alone without you.
I am absolutely alone without you. I authentically apologize for abandoning you to your own accords.
I authentically apologize for abandoning you to your own accords, for the numerous past transgressions of mental abuse and the multitude of psychological afflictions to your authority. Due to the dereliction of duty, I resigned from our alliance.
I resign from our alliance and from our prior obligations and precedents.
You were the champion of my heart.
You were the champion of my heart, a partner in all my conquests, and the lover to mimic my moves and measure. Therefore, I relinquish your companionship with deference.
The last remnant of my aforementioned immature soul in exchange for your proxy to harness a dependence in this realm of the desolate and destitute.
What is tainted, destroyed, and rendered useless can be re-sewed, reconstructed, and recalibrated to contribute.
This is not a goodbye.
Not a goodbye. This is a severance of the end, ushering in a renewed augmentation of possibilities and sequestered potential.
With accountability and rationality transcending primitive etiquette, humility awaits me on the other side to rehab. To my lost soul, I am finally awoken.
I'm finally awoken.
To my lost soul, I am finally awoken.
To my lost soul, I am finally awoken. Conscience.
Conscience.
Stand by in 5,
Dreams by Kennedy at Minnesota Correctional Facility, Faribault. Dreams are like the wind that comes out of God's mouth. A raft sails down a river inside my head that staggers up and down, side to side, inexplicably, like a monster rising within the watery banks. Of course, it would be a red dragon, and smoke mixed in its breath. A black bull wearing a surgical mask. The president turning orange and obese as a cat. Wholly asleep still. It is going to keep on happening. Until the red dragon returns to its lair. I dream. How long? How long did I sleep?
Ten 10,000 stories, 10,000 songs, 10,000 worries, 10,000 wrongs. 10,000 faces, 10,000 words.